All right, well, welcome everybody. This is Cleta Colson-Eyre, and it is March the 14th, 2021. And you guys, it's almost exactly a year since the big shutdown of the world. And this weekend, Sayla and I, well, welcome everybody. This weekend, Sayla and I did a festival here in town. It's called the Azalea Festival. And last year, I'll never forget, we had been watching all this, and I said, what do you think? She goes, well, they haven't canceled it yet. And so Friday night even, we loaded up our stuff, and I said, all right, well, I'll see you in the morning. She said, okay. I said, I'll just see you about 8:30, and we'll load the car and go over there together. And so 8:30, she's like, yep, come on. So then it's like on the way to Sayla's house, she calls me and said, I just got an email. They canceled the festival. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I end up going on over to her house, and we end up, just sitting there visiting that day a little bit together. It's so weird because I felt like I had high blood. I felt like something was wrong with me. So she said, well, here, check your blood pressure. So her husband had a cuff, and I said, all right, I'll check it. And so it was like nothing to do with COVID now, but it was like 190 something over like 100. And she goes, Cleta, that's really high. I said, I know. I said, that's weird, huh? So anyway, I remember that next day or something, I ended up going to see my family. Actually, it was Monday night. That's what it was. And it was a little 3-year-old birthday party that we're going to actually on Tuesday. And I remember going over there, and my sister-in-law is a nurse. And I said, Gina, I said, I think I might want to check my blood pressure again. I said, I checked it with my friend Sayla, and she said, we did it. And she goes, you need to go to the emergency room. I'm like, I'm not going to the emergency room. Anyway, long story short, we didn't have the Azalea Festival. COVID hit. And then I ended up having these weird heart things, and I ended up having a heart ablation in June of that year. And it all started this weekend a year ago, but nothing, they were all just like coincidental. But I think about that, Sayla, sometime that maybe if we'd have went on to the Azalea Festival, I probably never would have checked my blood pressure, because I don't have a blood pressure cuff, and I just didn't know what was the deal. But so you never know, God always has a plan for us. But anyway, we're super excited tonight. We have enough about me. Let's talk about you. Now, we have a great Boss Babe call tonight because we have a beautiful guest speaker. But before we bring her on, I just want to give you a little reminder that tomorrow night, or tomorrow at midnight Central Time, the 15th, is the last day of the Star Consultant quarter, the third quarter of this seminar year. And I know some of you were stars the first 2 quarters, so this will make 3 quarters in a row. Then you got one more to be an all-star and get some of those beautiful, beautiful Ted Baker bags. And so you're going to want to do that. And you have to get it in at least 1,800 in by tomorrow, the end of the day, midnight. Okay. And so, and of course, if you have any qualified team members, let's say someone came in and did a 600 in their Great Start qualified time period, that bumps you up another 600 points, so you get a better gift. So anyway, there is time. I've seen people, no kidding, I've seen people that needed like $1,200 the last day of the month, and they're like, I'm going to do it. So they just get on the phone, and they've sold products. They've sold what we call star certificates, where you call up some of your best customers and say, you can buy a star certificate for me. I have a really big goal. And then you can get $120 of product for $100. So for $100, you get $120 in product. Or, if you don't feel like that's juicy enough, you could say for, 100 for 150, whatever you want to do. But anyway, I've seen it done before, and the money just came in. They ordered the product, and they were a star. So if there's a will, there's a way. And then some of you may be brand new and have not made an inventory decision. So, one thing that if you were thinking about doing something like that, you could go to the Mary Kay website, and there's a thing called MK Connections, and you could possibly get the Mary Kay First Card Visa. That may be an option for you. It's 0% for a year, and it's a pretty good deal. So anyway, those are some options. Talk to your sales director. If you're in my unit, you can talk to me, but we can get some ideas for you. But anyway, I'm super excited to hear from one of my dear friends. And so I'm going to introduce her, and then I'm going to just tell you what I think is awesome about her. Okay. So her name is Tandy Fisher. She began her Mary Kay career at the ripe old age of 18 years old. 18 years old, she was a baby. She debuted as a sales director at the age of 23 years old. She's been driving free for 14 years, earning the use of 11 Mary Kay career cars. a Pontiac Grand Am. That's the first one I had too, Tandy. A Pontiac Grand Prix. I had that one too. And her first of 9 pink Cadillacs at the age of 24. So if you think of that, she became a director at 23, and within 24, she won all 3 cars. Okay. And then, Cadillac. Okay. She's led her unit to 16 appearances in the Circle of Achievement, 6 of those in the $500,000 Circle, and 2 appearances in the $650,000 Circle of Excellence. Tandy and her unit have been responsible for over $8 million in cosmetic sales. That's pretty impressive over the last 16 years. I should add mine up, Tandy. That's a great fun fact. I love that. She's made 12 appearances in the National Court of Sales, 2 in the National Court of Sharing, and has earned 78 Star Consultant prizes, over 40 carats of diamond rings. Or diamonds, period. She's earned the all-exclusive Destination Red cruise to the Bahamas last year and took her husband on his first cruise. Tandy earned a top director luxury trip and traveled first class on a Mediterranean cruise to Italy, Turkey, and Greece, and she just earned last year the trip to Scotland. Her highest commission check in just 1 calendar month, not like for a year, has been $17,000. Tandy married her Prince Charming, Troy, and he's amazing, on the beach in Puerto Vallarta 4 years ago. She lives in Rockford and has, I'm assuming that's Rockford, Illinois. Okay, and has 2 kids plus 3 bonus kids that Troy brought into her life. They have a sweet grandson, Riker, who is 4, and a precious granddaughter, Ryan. I might be saying those names wrong, who is 1. You guys, I met Tandy probably the first time in Florida is what I'm thinking, Tandy. Maybe down in Sarasota or Orlando. And I just remember thinking, that is one beautiful woman. And you know what? She is as sweet as she is beautiful on the inside. Like, she's someone that's like pretty on the inside and out, and has always been so kind. And I remember seeing her, we were in, I don't know if you remember this, Tandy, but we were in Hollywood. We were in Los Angeles, like going around at a leadership conference. I remember seeing her husband and her down there. I'm like, you guys look like movie stars. I feel like I need to go take a picture of in between y'all. But anyway, I just love this girl. And what's so exciting is she's coming to see me in Valdosta. We're having an event, a Linda Tupin event, and she's coming to see me in a month. So we are so excited to have her down in South Georgia. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some pecan pie or something for all these Northerners coming down. But we're gonna have a great time. And I asked her to be our guest speaker tonight and share her eye story and any kind of training that wanted to go along with it. And I know you guys are gonna be blessed when you hear her. So let's just give a big boss babe welcome to the amazing Cadillac Sales Director, Tandy Fisher. Woo! All right, there. I'm going to spotlight you, girl, and let you just take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm so excited to come visit you. I can't wait.
I can't either.
I can't wait to see your patio. I keep seeing pictures on Facebook. I'm like, it's so pretty. I want to sit out there.
Yes, and you're going to.
And I definitely remember Hollywood. We were on Rodeo Drive. That's why. Yes. Oh, that's why we look like movie stars.
Exactly.
Rodeo Drive.
Exactly.
Fun stuff. Well, thank you so much for having me on. And I'm going to share just kind of my eye story tonight, mixed in just a little bit different. I'm going to share with you a little bit of obstacles I've experienced over the through the years and the blessings that came from them. So my mom and I were shopping not too long ago and saw this sign that said she created a life she loved. And we both stopped. And my mom even looked at me and she's like, that's you. And I was like, it is. I loved that sign. And she told me not to buy it because she was going to make it. Well, I think that was like 2 years ago. So I'm still waiting, but but I still remember that. But I really feel like that sign sums up my Mary Kay career. So you heard Cleta say, I was 18 when I joined Mary Kay. So I've met so many women through the years that'll say, Mary Kay changed my life. You know, for me, I mean, I was 18. It didn't change my life. It just helped me to create a life that I love. And I am so grateful for that. So like I said, Cleta had asked me to share my eye story, and I thought, well, I want to share it of some of the seasons that I've been through so far. I know there's a lot more seasons to go, but I've been building my business for 23 years. So I've experienced quite a few. whether good or bad, that's just life. It's part of it. But blessings that would come from it. So I hope that what I share will inspire you to step out in faith to create a life that you love. So as I share some of my story and the seasons that I go through, think of somebody that you know. That's one of the things I love about iStories the most, is that it triggers thoughts of, oh, I've never thought of so-and-so, that friend, that family member, that customer. And it can help you place them of like, oh, I need to talk to her about this. So think of somebody because this could be the opportunity that they are praying for. And if you right now feel like you're in a season of life where you just feel like your goal is unattainable, have you ever been there? If the obstacles that you experience right now feel like roadblocks, I hope that by the end of this, you'll change the way that you see them and see them as stepping stones that can help you be a stronger and better leader. So just a little background before I tell you my first obstacle. I was 18, so of course there were some, but my aunt recruited me. It was September 30th, 1997. She was in the last day of meeting her numbers. I think she was going on target for a car, whatever it was. She was reaching a goal. I get a call on the last day of the month, which, what does that mean? I'm the last person she thought of. I don't care. That's fine. I was 18. Why wouldn't I be? I had gotten married that year. We had a 3-month-old, moved 5 hours from home. We're in a brand new city in Lafayette, Indiana. And she called me up one day out of the blue and said, hey, I just started Mary Kay and thought it would be something you'd like. And I was like, Mary Kay? Like, I didn't know much about it. I did have a best friend in high school whose mom sold it, but she was one of those like closet consultants, like she had a closet full of Mary Kay, and I'd get it for gifts. We'd use it in their bathroom. But I didn't know anything about the business. I for sure did not realize it could be a career. I just thought it was stuff, like products that you sold. But I remember listening to her on the phone that night. And the 3 things that really stuck out is that she shared that the company's based on putting God first, family second, and career third. That was something that was important to me anyway. I grew up in a really strong Christian home. And so I'd learned all of that, grew up that way. But to hear that a business did that too, I was like, well, that seems interesting. I didn't know that exists. Well, now that I am not 18 anymore, I realize that does not exist typically. And we are very blessed to be a part of a company like that. So that was the first thing that stuck out. The second thing is that she said it was flexible. So again, I had a 3-month-old at home. My husband worked retail. He was a manager of the Buckle in the mall. It was about a 6-month window when we first got married. And I knew that I had to be flexible around his retail schedule. If you've ever worked retail, that pretty much means like nights, weekends, anything in between, and everything in between, because you're in charge. So it was just kind of that thought of like, okay, this will help me get out of the house a little bit, meet some women. My daughter was premature. So even though she was 3 months old, she had been born 9.5 weeks early. So we spent the first 38 days in the NICU with her. So I really hadn't gotten to know very many people yet in our city. So it was just going to be a cool way to get to know people. And the third thing that caught my attention was she said, you make money to play in makeup. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. So when I'm telling women this, usually I would say at least 2/3 of the women that have joined my unit do not wear makeup. That is not the reason they've joined. They see the business plan, but me, I've always loved makeup. From the ages I was too young, my parents wouldn't let me wear it. I can remember being in the back seat of the minivan and my dad would be like, girls, I smell makeup. I've always loved it. And so I felt like this business just was created for me as she was sharing it on the phone. And I'll tell you, 23 years later, I still feel that way. I just feel like it was just made for me. I love it. But one other thing before I move forward, I do want to share that about a few days prior to this day that my aunt called me out of the blue, I had been invited from a lady at church to go to a Mary Kay event. So she was a consultant. She said we lived in an apartment complex. She said it was going to be in the, whatever they call that area, like the commons rec area of an apartment complex, like a meeting room. She said, it's at your apartment. We're going to do this. Will be giveaways. You should come. And we dress up a little bit. You guys, I was so excited because we were in this new city. So I got dressed up in this pantsuit, burgundy. It was 1997. It had like some pinstripe things on it. And I remember having my husband take my picture, hold my baby. I was just so excited to leave the house and go out. Well, it was an event where they didn't do facials. We were all sitting at round tables. And I remember they gave us folders and you asked questions. And for every question you asked, you got a ticket and you could win stuff. I won an iced coffee lipstick. It was or lip gloss. It was this pot of lip gloss. It's actually sitting down in my studio on my shelf because it's a reminder. Because what happened was I won the lip gloss. They gave me a folder with all the information on the business and sent me home. But nobody said to me, so Tandy, have you ever considered doing something like this? Would you like to join our team? Would you like to do Mary Kay? So to me, I just thought they were telling me how great it was. And I thought it was great. I mean, it sounded cool. It sounded like I was happy for her. But I think sometimes, I don't know if that was because I was 18. I didn't have a lot of experience yet, or if it was just that there are women, you just need to be very clear. Like, I would love to have you on my team. I would love to have you work with me. Would you like to sign up right now? So I keep that iced coffee lip gloss. Now, I have to say, I know God had a plan, like I know I'm right where I was supposed to be in the unit I was supposed to be in under my aunt, but that had a little bit of a layer. It was within a week. I feel like it was a couple days before she called. So I had this folder there that I could look through what she was sharing. That to me is crazy. So, okay, so let me just share. So when I was 18, some of the obstacles that I came across was we're in a new city, had a 3-month-old, no family around for babysitters. We had no money. So you heard Cleta say my highest commission check in 1 month was over $17,000. That was our annual income the day that I signed my agreement. So it wasn't like there was extra money. So that number to me is really cool. That first commission check that came that way. The second time it happened, I'm like, it could have been 18,000. Like, I'm over that now. I'm good if it be bigger now. But the blessings that came from that was the extra money when the car would break down, or we want to go on a trip, the tax shelter, which I didn't understand, but blessings that came from starting that so early, getting out of the house and getting to have adult conversations. I was very committed to going to meetings. Now, my director lived 3 hours away from me. So we would get in the car and I'd pick my husband up from work. The baby was 3 months old and she nursed. So we would drive to the meeting. He'd sit out in the lobby while we met at a hotel. And then in case I needed to go out and feed her, and then I'd come back and we'd drive home. So I did that every Monday for a few months because I wanted to learn. I wanted to be trained. The next kind of season was I was 20 years old and we moved to Rockford, Illinois. So McKaylee was 2. And by this time we had a second one, Micah. He was 10 months old at the time. And again, didn't know anybody, but met a couple of people there and asked at church. Met a couple girls and asked them to do a first party for me. So what happened in that season of not knowing anybody, so that would be the obstacle. The blessing I found that came from that was, first, I had an amazing adopted director, just so sweet. She's really a great friend. I still love to see her today. And the other blessing that came from not knowing anybody was that I learned to treat every party as if it's the only person you know, because it was for me. I mean, I didn't know anybody else. So it treated me to really work full circle in every single appointment, every single business appointment that was there. The next time or next season, so this was pretty quick, I was 21. We bought our first house, and that was the house that I lived in until my kids were graduated. And the obstacle when you buy a new house, because that could feel like an obstacle, it's exciting, but a lot. What I found from that, the blessing is that everybody wants to see it. Like these neighbors you don't even know yet, they're so nosy. They want to get in and see your house. So it's a perfect opportunity to have a party at your house, invite them in, get to know your neighbors. They're not going to say no because they're dying to see what you did with the inside. The next season, this was a big year for me. So I was 22. My kids were 2 and 4, and my husband decided he wanted to go back to school. So by this time he had a good job. He was making a good income. We had 2 new cars, 2 kids. I was playing in Mary Kay. So that's my obstacle. I was playing in Mary Kay. And now he's wanting to go back to school. Well, I wanted to support that. So what do? I called my director and said, hey, I know I haven't talked to you for a while. It was February 17th. I had one team member and said, I would like to be a sales director. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Little did I know, she was working on becoming a national sales director and is praying for women to step up. And that timing just happened to happen. So she was eager to help me as much as I needed, which is like your director right now, right, Cleta? Not that you're not always like that, but I know that that day, February 17th, with one team member, and she said, you need to hold 2 to 3 parties a week consistently, be on the phone with me for mentorship. And I was like, okay. So 11 days later, February 28th, I had 9 team members, went on target for my car, went into DIQ, and 3 months later, June 1st, I earned my first free car. July 1st, became a sales director. September 1st, so 2 months later, earned my premier car. And then 10 months later was our first pink Cadillac at the age of 24. So that was that part of the accolade that she read there. Well, the funny part is my husband never went back to school. The whole reason that I got this going in the first place. And I thought, well, God's always got a bigger plan. So I was just thankful, I was loving the leadership side. The blessing that happened in pushing me to that, even though it was for the back to school reason, and that's not what it ended up, but it challenged me to a new level, challenged me to stretch my thinking, to work harder, to develop personally, and lots more, obviously. So I remember the month that I earned my pink Cadillac. My commission check that month was $8,000. I had never had a commission check like that before. I had never honestly seen money like that before in 1 month. And this opened up a new opportunity for us. So my husband actually quit his job because he still didn't like his job. He quit his job, and Mary Kay was our full income for at least 5 years. I can't remember for sure how many years that was. But some of those seasons in there that happened, if you have little kids at home. So now my kids are a little older, right? They're both in school by this time, in every sport. Oh my gosh, like every sport. So the obstacle that happens in that are every sport comes every practice, right? Like daily practice and all the extras that go. But the blessing I learned from that is the ability to work your business anywhere. That during those seasons, if you have little kids at home and you feel like your life is just nonstop, it does not mean that Mary Kay has to go on a back burner. It means Mary Kay is made, it's meant to complement your life. And that means every season. So it's learning, okay, here's my life right now. What do I need to adjust? How can I work it differently? So just making your mind think new thoughts, during those seasons. Now come up to 2011, my kids are 12 and 14, and I found myself a single mom. That was not something that was in my plan in 1997 when I signed my agreement, nor do I think any woman has that plan on the day of their wedding. But I did file for divorce the day that he was arrested for domestic violence against me. So again, it put me to a whole new thing of just being really thankful for my business and being able to have this opportunity. I will tell you that he was not always a bad man. And it wasn't a life of that, but he was bipolar and would not get help for that. So if you've ever experienced somebody like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They can be the best person one day and the worst the next day, So that was, again, if you've experienced that before, you know that all those years I just talked about, there's a lot more in there, right? There were a lot more obstacles in there that it was easy to cover up because it's easy to cover that stuff up in businesses. You can choose to be strong. You can choose to work your business. And I've always been a strong believer that your test can be a testimony, but not until you get through it. So I kept that pretty quiet. People didn't know unless I needed to get help in the moment. So at that time, and that was June. And I'll tell you that my unit didn't know until January. I waited until I felt like I could get through it. So I could, have a really bad bawl it out, exercise it out, cry it out, whatever I need to do, scream it out, scream it out to God, and then wipe myself up and be able to go do business. So it allowed me to compartmentalize that rough time of life of it's real. It's something to deal with, but it didn't have to be like blended with my business. It could be, here's this. Okay. And now I can go be a leader, because if you're in the middle of a test and if you're in the middle of trials, if you try to merge it too soon before you've gotten through it, on the other side, then everybody wants to know in the middle of it, like, oh, how are you doing? And it becomes conversations about that instead of powerful conversations, to pour into other people's lives. And I think that's a gift that we get in this business, that we can hide out in those moments and just get the help where we need, if that is a part of your life. And I hope that it never is. But again, you might know somebody right now that this could be that for them, or they might know it could be coming and this could be perfect to be able to have for them. So the blessing through all that was I could keep a business that might be shaky at times, but a shaky business through that. What also happened, and that was interesting enough, 2011, the year that I filed for divorce, it was June, middle of June, and I was in the top 20 of the Court of Sales that year in the Emerald Division. So I was working my business through all of that, and was able to walk across the stage that way too. So the blessing that happened through working through those times is that when I found myself a single mom, I was able to keep my kids in our home and keep that stability for them because they did not get that there. So was able to do that again. Not like, I mean, it was not beautiful. Let me just tell you, it was messy, at times, but it allowed me to do that. It's allowed me to turn my basement and my home into a studio, and what allowed me to work it from home a little bit more, which we're all doing that now. Some other blessings that happened from my business during those years, during the single years, was I was able to take my kids on a 7-night vacation to Florida the week before my daughter went off to college on that Star Consultant voucher. So they did like a 7-night vacation, like 3 times, I think, that I can remember. And that was one for me that in those moments, it was great to be able to have that time with my kids. My business allowed me to leave the day after Christmas one year with my son and his friend, and we drove the pink Cadillac out to Colorado to take him snowboarding as a Christmas gift. It allowed me that the day my son received a letter from the University of Alabama that he had a full tuition scholarship offer, we booked a plane, booked a car, booked a hotel that day and went and made it. I was like, is there any reason you wouldn't go here? Because that would not make sense. And he is a senior this year. So he graduates here in just a couple of months from the University of Alabama. So to fast forward to my happy season here, in 2017, I did meet, I married my Prince Charming. We dated for a few years on the beach in Puerto Vallarta. And I am loving this season of my life. Now I feel like the main obstacles are external at this point. I mean, again, it's life. There's always going to be things. And we have 5 grown children now. And I know the future will bring other ones, the aging parents and things like that down the road, but we're not there yet. Right now, we're just enjoying this season. We're in a sweet spot. We love to travel. And I'm very grateful for the Mary Kay opportunity to be able to take our business and work it hard. I love to work hard, but I love to play hard too. So if you have kids at home, know that season does have many obstacles, but many blessings. And I think some of the things I loved is that more is caught than taught during those years. You can teach your kids to work for a goal. You can teach them it's just as honorable to sell as it is to buy. You can teach them how to handle obstacles and setbacks because they happen. And if they see it, it's good for them. The blessings I found in that season was being able to be a room mom, go on field trips. One year I packed all the lunches for the whole football team and I'd take them in my Mary Kay cooler down to the football field, drop them off to school and pick them up, have parties at the house. We had a pool, so have pool parties out there, be at all the special things. So if you have kids, love that season you're in, love it, work it. It's so short, even though it feels really long in the middle of it sometimes. So just love it. Don't miss a moment, but work through that. And then who loves this product? I know we all do. The blessings I found in the product was the thousands of women who I've had the opportunity, and I know you've had the opportunity to just make them feel beautiful, make them feel important, give them confidence. With our products, adopt a grandparent opportunities, chemo care packages, makeovers at assisted livings, domestic violence shelters, rehab facilities. It allows you through our product to show God's love to others that you can't always do unless you have that tangible way. And if you agree with me, money does not buy you happiness. I would never say that, but it does give you choices. I'm so thankful to have been able to earn a 6-figure income for the past 18 years. And when you're a single mom, trying to pull things through, 6 figures doesn't go as far as it did when I joined Mary Kay years ago. But I'm so thankful that it allowed me to stay in our home and not have to go back and live with my parents. The 2 things I've always loved in this business is the flexibility. which means different things in different seasons. And the fact that the only way you can move up is to take others with you, that will never change. And I'm so thankful Mary Kay built our business that way. I am a firm believer in Charles Swindoll's quote that says, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Life happens. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Life is messy. Life is challenging. So I just challenge you to listen to God's promptings in your life. Like, what is it that you need to change to create the life you love? I'll share a few of the things that I have found that have worked for me. And if you're already like, oh, I got that, that's awesome. Like, listen, that maybe some of these things will help somebody, you know. So some of the things, like when my kids were young, it was strictly God, family, Mary Kay. Like, I didn't have time for the other stuff. I didn't have lunch with girlfriends. It just wasn't a time that I could do that. And I was great with that. I love that. Now I do lots of lunches with girlfriends, but I didn't do the extra things back then because my Mary Kay was really important to me. And I remember hearing Mary Kay's trainings early on of it's God, family, career. It's not like God, family, Mary Kay. It's not God, family, lunch, pedicure. She didn't say that stuff, but all those other things. And then your Mary Kay, like if you want big things from it, you have to give it the time and have to give it the respect to get that back. Exercise looked different in every season of my life. That's always been important to me, but it went from like pushing a stroller to double kid strollers to bicycles with the kids, Taibo videos, if you remember Taibo, P90X, running steps. Those were my like immediately divorced year. I ran steps and oh my goodness, that was the best thing. I would cry out to God. Sometimes I listened to really heavy metal music. I mean, depended on the day, sometimes both. And, you just, whatever you need to do. And now my exercise consists of, my husband and I walk at least 5 days a week, 4 miles really fast. And it's our great just conversation time. Our phones stay at home. We walk, we talk. It's just great for us and for our relationship too. Another thing I think is really important is healthy living. How can we best be our best for others if we're not healthy? So just taking that time out to take care of yourself first. And your needs are going to be different from my needs, and it's going to be different from another one's needs. So it's not like you need to do this, this, and this. It's what do you know what you need to do? We know what we need to do. And then the time frame. About 5 years ago, I went and I started Mary Kay's 5 o'clock club. Now, it is not natural for me still. Like that, let me just tell you how this works. So some are like, oh, you get up at 5. Yeah, but I set my alarm for 5 every morning. It does not have, like, I can feel I am the heaviest sleeper ever. So I can know it's like 4:59 and know it's time to get up, but there's no way I can pull myself out of that sleep. So my alarm sits in the bathroom. So I have to get up out of bed, go in there to turn my alarm off. By the time I get there, I'll be like, oh yeah, now I'm awake. So the 5 o'clock club was great for me. Now there were years that I was the midnight club, like you have to do whatever works in your season, but I love that part. And then one thing I think was hard for me, but I think is really important is to learn that rest is not being lazy. So taking that time to rest, because I really do love this business so much. I could do it 24/7, but that's not healthy either. And so to find time for rest and for all the extra things you love. So just finding systems, things that are going to work for you and things to take care of you too, so you can take care of others. So now I want you to think about whose dream is attached to yours. You may not need the money. Maybe you're on here and you're like, I'm good. Like, we don't need that extra, but God has given you the ability to lead. You can make a difference in the lives of so many from your leadership and with the extra money. I mean, give it away. It's such a blessing when you're past that point of needing it yourself to where you're in the overflow. You're living in the overflow of, okay, those are definitely met. So where can you give that when you see a need, you can meet it, meet a financial need. It's such a blessing to be able to do that. So I challenge you to step out in faith in this final 4, because you never know until you try. Never know what you can do when you really, really push towards that goal that you set July 1st, that you right now feel like there is no possible way. Well, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, like Cleta said a year ago, who would have known what we just were going to step into? We never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So treat each day like you can reach that goal, because really, let's think about it. Our final 4 months is really it's really just a strong beginning to a new seminar year too. It is a dual purpose. Yes, it's an awesome finish, but an awesome finish in Mary Kay means that you have just set yourself up for the best year ever when you do that come July 1st, when we enter our 2022 seminar year. So she created a life she loved, can be a continuation of what you're already doing or a brand new beginning starting right now. So a few things that I've done since the pandemic, that was a couple of extra things to share, is one, I've made sure my inventory, and I've always taught this, I've always felt it's important, but right now, like, it's different, right? To have things out of stock, I mean, that's not things we've dealt with before. So to really make sure your inventory is where you need it to be, and to teach your team members that too, based on your customer base. So that I took really serious in this pandemic, of had more than what I had ever had before, because I want to make sure I've got what I need. And if one of my team members needs it, that was something I was kind of against before. And now I'm like, well, it's different now. Like, if the company's sold out. So just making sure you have what you need for your customers. And then 2 new ideas that I implemented, and maybe it's old news for you, maybe you've already done this, but maybe it's a new idea. One was sending out samples and doing, facials on Zoom. Of course, I'm sure you're all doing that. But I ordered these cute little bags. Did you guys do these, Cleta? Have you already taught this? Okay. So these cute little canvas bags you can find on shopmissa.com. So SHOPMISS, the letter A.com. They are $1 a piece. I think it's a minimum of 35 for free shipping, but they're really cute, and they're canvas, and they say fun things. So lipstick is my bestie. They have lots of fun things. Don't tell your customers this website. They have like junk makeup on there for $1. I mean, it's junky, but the canvas thing, the little bags are cute. And then I've mailed out samples. So the majority of my success with sales, personal sales since the pandemic, has been on having people try these 3 products, really more than 3, but 3 lines over Zoom to try before they buy. I don't think the canvas bag is a necessity except to draw attention. Like, we're all girls, we like fun things. Oh, you're going to give me a free bag? Okay, I'll do it. It's $1, So this, and then this is what's inside: a business card, and then a strip of the Time-Wise 3D skincare sample, microdermabrasion, and charcoal mask. So this is what, since last March, this is what I've done every single month. I do for debuts. I love getting the product on their face. I do some Facebook Lives. I have a group, like I do all those things too, but this has brought more skincare sales than I have ever experienced in my 23 years. I have never seen so much skincare sold as what I've seen during this past year. It's been crazy. It mind blowing to me, honestly. I sat in shock last year during those, shutdown times. But let me give you dollar amounts, because I'm a money girl, because I lived on Mary Kay fully for quite a few years of my business. So I am really big on making sure that whatever you spend is going to bring you results, that you're going to make money from it, so that you have a good ROI, great return on your investment. So give you a breakdown of it. This sample costs you $1. You get 3 of them for $3, 3 strips for $3. So it's $1 a piece for that. The microdermabrasion come in sheets of 6 for $2. So that's 33 cents for this sample. And then the charcoal mask is 6 of them for $1. So that's 17 cents for this sample. I also mail the catalog. So I don't try to skimp too much by just putting this in a regular mailing envelope, even though that is an option. This is what I do. So I have these things, a catalog. So these are 35 cents, right? Pack of 10 for $3.50. Business card. I don't even know how much those are. You just need them. And then this again was $1. And then I bought special envelopes. So I've bought 2 different ones. I bought some that were hot pink like this. I ran out of them, and these were like 43 cents a piece, which is kind of dumb, but I like something that is going to come in their mailbox and they're going to be like, oh, it makes me happy and it stands out. And when it gets put in a pile of mail, they're going to find it easy. So I bought these too. So these are on Amazon. They're poly mailers. These end up being 8 cents a piece if you buy these. They come in packs of 100 or 200 depending. So all this will fit down inside of here. And then you can fold it up where it's like, and tape it where it's like the size of a catalog then. It is bendable. So if you don't put anything hard in it, so my signature with my customers when I order product is they get 2 pink starbursts and they look for those. Like I kid you not, they will pull out the starburst before they make sure they got their new lip gloss. But I do not put them in here because it would cost more to mail. So you make sure it stays flexible. I believe it's $1.80 to mail it like that. I think is what the cost of the shipping is. So this ends up, even if you ship it out, like once all this is in there, it's under $5 to do that. It's $4. I think it's around $4 per packet. So the only way you'd send those out, of course, is if you know their skin type, which means they're going to show up. They say they're available on the time you're going to do the Zoom. I mean, don't just like pop them in the mail to everybody, but have a cute picture in your customer group or do it in a way. I mean, we've all found ways to do it legally that, to post a picture of something that's going to make your friends and family and customers. The things I've posted on my regular Facebook have never brought the attention of somebody else's customer to me. Like, I don't think that's something we have to worry about when we worry about it. Like, if somebody already has a consultant, great, call your consultant. She'll be able to give you that. Or I'll send you that. You can have it and try it and buy it from her. Like, just keep the Mary Kay going. I don't really care, just get it out there. The last thing I want is somebody else's customer. I am glad that somebody else is making money from their customer. So that, I believe, has been, this has been tremendous because they're, again, trying before they buy. Another idea that I've just started implementing in once a month. Where did I put this one? Oh, see, this is why they're in colors. This was the one I just did the other day called Irish Eyes Are Smiling. So I use a colored envelope. My mom had these like from a project they did at a mission thing for church one time. So they're old Hallmark envelopes. So if you know somebody that works for a card company, they have envelopes they have to throw away with lots of colors. So ask. Otherwise, I had ordered like blush pink or hot pink, something that's going to stand out to mail out. But inside here, this is just the color look. So you let them know that they will do all their skincare ahead of time, all their foundation, have their brushes ready, and have a tube of mascara sitting there. And then you get on and you're just going to do color with them. So what I found, there's so many cool things on In Touch when we just get in there and look around. There's too much to catch all of it. But there are Chroma Fusion looks already put together, like 10 of these, I think, that are already printed. This is the one I just did with Golden Moss. But they're under Party Central, and then it's like one of the additional forms, and it's called Chroma Fusion Looks, if you haven't seen these. So I mail this out with just these samples. So the first time I mailed them, I added the eyeliner and a mascara sample. Guys, those things cost $4 to mail. I was like, oh, I'm not doing that again. So I just put them in these instead. So you just put a regular stamp on it. So what I have inside of here are the 4 eyeshadow samples that it called for, the blush, and a lipstick sample. So these are 8 cents a piece because they're a sheet of 18 for $1.50. And your lipsticks are 19 cents a piece because there are 8 of them for $1.50. So like 59 cents, and you plus a stamp, and you've got these sent out. So if they get together with you on Zoom and you instruct them through it, you talk about the brushes, make a little bundle deal. But it's just another fun way now that people are wearing makeup again and wearing color too. So those are my 2. They've done lots of other things in here. I hope you all have private groups. Cleta is such an awesome example of social media and all that. I love watching what she does. I copy lots of what she does. So I just love having women to look up to like that and to be able to use what's working for them. So I will leave it at that. And then if there's any questions, then I can answer.
Okay, awesome. Here, I'm gonna join you on here. And so first of all, you guys, let's give her some hands. So good. It's funny how, like a lot of times, y'all, it's funny, I bet consultants don't understand this, and maybe directors too, that like on like top director trips or different things like that, you really don't sit down and go, okay, tell me your I story.
Right.
So I'm so glad to hear all of this about you, because when we're together, we're just having fun, you know. And but that what an inspiring story. I know that you have hit every single person on here, and I thought of people as you're talking of who I'm like, yep, yep, yep. And so I really like all of it. I like the practical ideas, but just the fact that, you know, and with me and you both, you like just the years we've gone through and have had to figure it out. And you never know what your year is going to look like, or even the next day sometime where something rocks your world, like that's happened with you. But then the Lord brings us a Brad and a Troy. And God is good.
Double for our trouble, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So I would love for we'll just have the directors first, and then we'll open it up because we have a few extra minutes tonight. If anyone else would like to say something to Tandy. So directors, you guys just at your will, just unmute and pop on here.
Hey Tandy, this is Sayla. Girl, you are awesome, powerful, encouraging, really a Mary Kay rock star. Yes, you are beautiful, but from the inside out. And thank you for sharing your story, because I think we all go through obstacles, and sometimes you look at people and you think, oh, she's got it made, or you know, she's never had any issues. So I just appreciate you sharing your heart and really your life with us, and the practical ideas, but really just the encouragement from all that you've been through, and you have come out shining like a superstar. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, this is Loree. I'm another one of Clea's offspring, like Sayla. And like her, I just want to say it was so good. I mean, you can just hear your heart and your faith, and just the Holy Spirit is within you, and it just comes through even on the phone and the video. And your story is really so powerful. And we all have obstacles to overcome that give us the opportunity to create the giants within us when we have to deal with things like that. And it's just so good to have that reminder that, you know, women go through so much and they need this opportunity. And so thank you for that, because, you know, we even get caught up in everything that we've got going on, that, you know, we can forget that there are other people out there that have their own stories that are still in the middle of being painted. And so thank you. And for your ideas too. I'm already pulling up that Miss A website. So I'll have mine ordered tonight.
They're so cute, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are.
Sharon, I saw your face on there. You want to say something?
Yeah, Cleta, I'm just so impressed with Tandy. I mean, to share all that, she made it seem so doable. And I love the part about when you're going through a valley, keep it kind of to yourself. And then when you start to come out of it, that's when you want to share, because you can look at it a lot more objectively, and your people don't have to. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. You know, they don't have to mother you. You can still mother your people. And so I really thank her for sharing that. And I sent a text. Could you please share the vendor again?
Yeah. It's Shop Miss A. And I think somebody wrote it in the chat there too. I think I saw Dana.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for your sharing.
Thanks, Sharon.
Okay, sweetie.
Is it my turn?
Yep. Go ahead.
Awesome, Tandy. It's Jana. Thank you so much for everything. I just have to tell you, well, I just think you have a beautiful heart. And I already thought that beforehand, but you know what? I just love that you shared so much, but you're also so business savvy. I love the numbers. I love the return on investment, you know, knowing exactly what everything costs. And I can't imagine we all work like we need to provide, but having two children at home, I just respect that so much. And really just, you're creating the life that you love. I love watching you and Troy traveling on Facebook. It just makes me think, okay, I wonder where they're at. I've got to get that information. I got to go to that place, because I loved watching your trip to the Keys. But anyway, the Be Bold. I hope that every independent beauty consultant and sales director remembered that you have to ask for people to join you. It's sometimes we imply it. We think that we're saying enough, but I love that you said you got to come out and say, I'd love to have you on my team. That was so good. And treat every party as if it's the last person you know.
Yeah.
Because I know that I need that reminder as well as I think everyone needs that reminder. So everything is so good. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you. And Jana, I'll see you too, right? Don't you live down there by Cleta?
Actually, I'm in Kansas.
Oh,
So
okay.
yes,
She
but if you
should
ever,
be coming, but she's not because she has a lot of obligations.
I have a lot of prom and a benefit for my sister, and everything's all sandwiched within 1 month. And I was like, I'm coming. And then I rethought it.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, girl. Okay, is there any other consultants that would like to say affirm Tandy, or maybe you have a question or something for her since we got just a minute or two more? Just unmute if you'd like to say something.
Hi, Tandy. I want to thank you so much. Everything that you talked about, especially the compartmentalizing and the ideas, the 5 a.m. club. I've been wrestling a little bit with that, and you just kind of gave me a little confirmation there. So thank you. I love that you shared just transparency about and just so inspirational. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Put your alarm in the bathroom.
I think I'll have to.
Don't forget that part.
That was an awesome tip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wake up. Like I just can't pull myself out of it without.
I want to say thank you, Miss Tandy. I am brand new as of January, the end of January. And so these are some great ideas to get started. I have gotten started, but you've been very inspirational to get me kicked off and going even stronger. So thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, anybody else? Carol?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on real quick.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, I text in the comment section that God scares me with how direct he speaks to me when someone else is talking. And I wasn't going to share this, but I will. About a week and a half ago, I was actually diagnosed bipolar. And what are the chances that you shared your story with that? I mean, my situation's different, of course, but it's also similar as well because I also faced a domestic violence situation. And it's rocked me. And so I loved your advice. I loved what you said. I think I wrote down a lot of things, of course, but one of the other directors shared it as well. But, don't merge, some of the obstacles you're facing, keep them separate because the conversations aren't as powerful. And I love that. And that is so true. I don't want my really good friend, Katie Harris, told me, she said, don't let your life be consumed by this. This is not your identifier. Don't let it consume you. And anyway, I honestly got on here on a whim. I was like, hey, I'm actually free. I'm going to jump on this call. And then God used that to speak. So, wow. Thank you.
Well, Carol, I just have to tell you then that you might be the reason I don't always put that part in. Sometimes that's left out and it was the last minute. So God has always prompted me on the reason. So you must be that reason. But I'll be praying for you. You've got this. That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carol, my cousin.
I wondered, I saw the name there.
I know. She's not really, but I'm gonna claim her.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else like to say anything?
I just want to say thank you for your advice. Mary Kay, these women in Mary Kay are just so real. They just keep it real. And life happens to them too. It looks like that everything is perfect in their life, but life happens to all of us. But yet, you find a way to keep going. And I just love that. And I'm so encouraged. I'm a retired teacher and just wanting to start a new life. Daughter is grown and have grands and everything. And I'm like, you know what? This is my turn. This is my year. So just been working off and on, red jacket, no red jacket, And I know that the faces and the classes is where to go. So I just appreciate all of the advice. It's just been so meaningful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll tell you what, anybody would want to join your team. I'd want to just be by you and give you a hug.
Thank you.
We have a lot of positive comments on our YouTube. We stream it to YouTube Live, and so we got a bunch of people on there also saying thank you, what a blessing, and you can go back and look at those, Tandy. But you know what I've always found is just like she said, your test can later be a testimony. And so every one of us of women have gone through stuff, and later when you're on the other side and you're strong enough to talk about it, you will help other people, you know. And I can remember many times, you know, having just those days where you're almost crying on the way to the meeting, but then you got to suck it up, buttercup, right? You're especially if you're a sales director, you got to show up and you got to give all you can. And you know what? It's one of the best therapies, I think, that we can have as women sometime, is just knowing you got to give your best to someone else. Put your own troubles on the shelf for a minute. They'll be back. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. You can go pick them right back up when you're done if you want to, but to just step out of that spot and then give your best to someone else. And it is so healing in a lot of different ways. And so I know all of you that have been through stuff, that have been in Mary Kay at that time, that have a team, you know what I'm talking about. And even for your customers, because I know there was times where the customers was like, well, I didn't, you know, if you talk too much and cry too much and whine too much, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to call her and bother her because she's going through all this, but I really need a cleanser. And in your mind, you're like, I really need people to buy. So I think it was just great advice, Tandy. Great wisdom there. And we just appreciate you so much. So we're going to end tonight, but I want to remind our boss babes that we started a little something on March 1st. So guess what, you guys? This is week number 3 starting, right? So we've got our little notebook here. Let me just put myself on the view here. Okay, remember we are building momentum. So here's mine, okay? And so remember the first 7 days, we were at least reaching out to 1 a day, and the second 7 days, at least 2 a day, okay? Now we're on our 3 a days. So this is like spring training, okay? And so we're 3 a days, and next week we're gonna do 4 a day at least. And so I want y'all to know that I have done it every day, and the discipline of doing it every day and not skipping is key. If you have skipped, just start over, you know. But I have found so many people. Now, I will say last week I did get on here and brag a little bit that nobody told me no. Well, that changed on Monday last week. I'm like, you braggart, quit bragging to people. Anyway, so I've had a few people, and the ones that have said no, they did not want me to send them a pink pampering package. And I'm just thinking, in my mind, I don't even understand it. I'm like, why would you not want this? But anyway, and it's much like what Tandy was sending out. But, and you know, 2 of the gals, they go to church with me. I'm like, you're gonna have to see me next week. But anyway, I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? I said, I'm gonna save this sample bag. I already got your name on it. So when you change your mind, let me know. And then move on. And Sayla and I were at the festival today, and we just laughed. We said, you want to know how do you get over rejection? I'm gonna tell you. This is how you do it. You get yourself a booth, pay $30 or whatever you got to pay, and set up in a booth, and just make yourself ask every single person that walks by, hey, would you like to register to win some Mary Kay? Hey, would you like to see how many peppermints are in here so you can win a prize? Because you're going to get a lot of no's, but it builds up your stamina. And then I would just Sayla would do it, and they go, no, thank you. And then I would just laugh. And so one of them were like, would you like to register to get some free Mary Kay? No, thank you. And then I said, would you like to count how many peppermints are in this bowl to win something free? She goes, no, thank you. And I said, would you like to win $100? She goes, well, yeah. I said, all right, just making sure that you can say yes. She went on her way, but I thought it was funny. It's like a game, honestly. And but what was so great is when you said, would you like to register to win some Mary Kay? And they go, sure, who wouldn't? So here's the thing, there are going to be some yeses in there. So just know there's going to be some yeses, even though you might get some no's, especially if they're strangers. You know, you're going to get some no's. And, you know, they even tell me a Sayla no, which is shocking to me. Sayla, do you have anything you'd like to add to that before we wrap it up?
No, but I will tell you that we were set up on a sidewalk, and there was a booth across from us, and they were selling these dream catchers. And so this afternoon, as I was cleaning up, I walked across the sidewalk, and I said, "Hey, you know, how did y'all have a great weekend?" Now we were right across from each other, right? So the same people walked by our booth that walked by their booth, and they said, "You know, we had an okay weekend, but we just noticed that you had so many people stop at your booth." And they said, and this girl said, "You know, about 90% of the people that you talked to signed your piece of paper, you know, signed up to win something." And I said, "Well, girl," I said, "I didn't pay money and come out here all weekend just to sit." I mean, this couple, they had just sat there and really had not many people at all. And so really, of course, it didn't matter what people said to me, you know, yes or no, or maybe so. And we would laugh and just whatever they said, I'd just say, "Great," you know, but you do have to work it, you know, you do have to put a little bit of effort. And so, I just think it was a testimony that, you know, you do have to be willing to get the no's to get the yeses, or else they're all going to be no's. So anyway, I encourage you to just put forth the effort.
Yeah. And what she did is she had a fishbowl and she dumped a big thing of peppermints in there. And there were 350 peppermints. And so it, you know, wraps individually, those soft ones. And so she just said, "Hey, you know, do you want to guess how many peppermints to win this free set and hand set?" You know, or we would say that. And they go, I said, and then we'd do this. I go, "You might as well." And they go, "Okay." And then they couldn't do it, you know. Sometimes they would anyway. But I thought it was cute, you know, just to have some kind of, we like to do where, you know, maybe they try lipstick and kiss it and they do lip personality. But with COVID and everything, we didn't have like 500 individual lip things to give out, you know. So we thought, what would be easy? So we just did that. So anyway, it was fun. We had a good time together. We both got some great names out of it. And it's really just good to get out there and see some people, you know, and just really be together. So anyway, Tandy, we just want to thank you again for just giving us the hour of your time tonight. And thank Troy for letting us borrow you for an hour. And I cannot wait to see you in about a month. And so we'll go on the back porch and we will just have a great time.
I cannot wait to sit on your back porch.
I know. I can't wait either. So everybody,
let me go though. I just have to say that just how much I respect you, Cleta, your leader, all of you listening and watching. When she asked me to be on here, I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever else I have, I will make it happen. I've watched her lead from example, lead the Mary Kay way, just through all the years that I have known her. And then the more I've gotten to know her, just respect her more. You know, sometimes you get to know people more and you're like, oh, there's something that maybe not so much. It's not like that about you, Cleta. I just really respect you. And I think you're going to be an incredible national, and our company could not be more blessed to have you as a leader. So thank you for just allowing me and trusting me to be in here with your people. But just love you. Can't wait to see you.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me, Tandy. I really, really appreciate that. And you know what? It's a team effort here. So I just thank you. And you know what? I love women that are like-minded like you. So thank you again. And you guys have a great week. Get your blessed star done. That's all I'm gonna say. Get it done. Quit whining and get your star done. And then we're going to be on a new quarter on Tuesday. And I want you to get those 3 names a day at least, you guys. You can do it, all right? And if you don't, just laugh and think about me and Selah when people wouldn't even take free peppermint. So it don't matter. You just go to the next one. All right, you guys, have a great one. And thank you again so much. And next week, we actually have another guest speaker, another top director. So I'll be sending you the flyer for that. So you guys are just really, we're having a March Madness. I don't know what else you want to call it, but we're a momentum month for March.